Hold on, that's good is good. Hey, good morning as we go to the Chitas of today. Still holding in the portion of Vayishlach, holding chapter in the portion of Yishlach in the book of Genesis. We're holding on chapter 34, verse number 1. Yaakov and his children are living in Shechem. They say Dinah, Bas Leah, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, goes out. Asher Yolda Yaakov, which was born to Yaakov. Lida is b'bnei tzayin, to see in the daughters of see the daughters of the land. Rashi says Bas Leah, Tati Bas Leah, that the daughter of Leah goes out. So Rashi says V'lei Bas Yaakov. Seems like the verse doesn't mention that she was daughter of Yaakov. However, because her going out was called the daughter of Leah, since she, Leah, too was in the habit of going out. It says, and Leah came out towards him. So Leah went out, and she had a daughter that also went out. And concerning her, they devised the proverbs like mother, like daughter. Well, here you can translate Rashi to the good or to the bad, whatever way you want to translate it. And as she's going out into the city of Shechem, so the son of the king saw her, Achivi, the Sioretz, who was the leader, the prince of the land. He took her by Yishkav Isa Vayanel, and he violated her. He laid with her and violated her. Rashi says, Vayishkav Vayisikadaika, when it says Vayishkav in the Torah, it means in a natural form. Vayanel, when he violated her, means Shalikadaika, an unnatural way. And his soul was cleaved to Dinah. Bas Yaakov, the daughter of Yaakov. Over here it does mention. And he loved this girl. And he spoke to the heart of the girl. She says, he spoke to her seductive words. Look how much money your father is squandering for a small parcel of land. I will marry you, and you will acquire the city and all its fields. You're going to become the queen. Shem told his father, Aviv, Chamer, what a name his father had, Chamer, the donkey. Take me this girl. It's this beautiful girl. I want to marry Elisha. Yaakov, verse number 5, Yaakov Shama, Yaakov heard. Itime is Dinah Bita, that his daughter Dinah was violated. But his sons were with the cattle, in the field, and Yaakov was silent until they came. The father of Shechem went out to Yaakov to speak to him. And the children of Yaakov, the brothers, the sons of Yaakov came from the field. Yishmael, when they heard, and the men were very grieved. And they were extremely angry. Because he committed a scoundrel's act in Israel. To lie down with his daughter of Yaakov, and such ought not be done. She says to violate a girl For even the nations of the general nation accepted that you don't force yourself against another person. Rape. Chamer said to them, saying, my son Shem loves your daughter. Why did give it to her as a wife? He does chashka is the same concept as chavsa. He desired him. Will come like a family. Once your daughter will marry my son, we'll become one big happy family. And we'll intermarry, you'll intermarry with us. You'll give us your daughters. And we'll take your daughters for us. We'll start living together in harmony. And then you'll live with us in this land. And we give you this land. You'll be able to live in the land, do business there, settle there. And Shem also said to her father and brothers, may I find favor in your eyes? And whatever you say, I'll give to you. Impose upon me a large marriage settlement and gifts, and I'll give you as much as you ask. As an Alisha, I want to marry your sister. I want to marry this girl. Mahar, what means mahar? Is a ksuba. I'm willing to even give her a ksuba. What the Jewish people do, they write a ksuba and a marriage document obligating not only to my future wife, etc., etc. Upon Yaakov's son answered Shem and his father Chamer in a cunning way. And they spoke because all of how he defiled the sister Dinah. With wisdom. Ashatima Akasev, the Torah states that this was not trickery because after all, he had defiled Dinah. He said, this is not just tricking them. They did something terrible. And they're not coming forward in the sin that they did. They just wanted that she should get married, but not in the sin that they did. They're not confessing and realizing that they have done a terrible sin. It says that we cannot do this situation. We cannot give to our sister a man that is not circumcised. This is a disgrace to us. It says to us, the defect. Someone wishes to insult another person and says you're not circumcised, or you are a son of an uncircumcised person. This is a cherpa. That's why he told them they all have to circumcise. So therefore he said, "Oh, you want we should marry one each other? Then all your people have to circumcise themselves." With this, however, you will consent to you. If you will be like us, then every male should be circumcised. We will consent to you. Expression of like, the priest consented. Circumcised. Satas will give our daughters to you. And we'll take your daughters for ourselves. And we'll dwell with you. And we'll be one nation because we'll all be circumcised. She says, we'll take your daughters for ourselves. We find in the stipulation that Chamer suggested to Yaakov and the reply of Yaakov's sons to Chamer that they, Chamer and Shem, attached importance to Jacob's sons. allowing them to take whoever the daughters of Shechem they would choose for themselves. And the daughters, they will give that to them, the people of Shechem, as the sons of Yaakov wished, the sons of Yaakov wished. For it's written, then we will give you our daughters. And we wish that we can take your daughters. However, we wish, when Chamer and the sons of Shechem spoke to the townsmen, they reversed the matter. We will take their daughters for ourselves as wives, and our daughters we will give them in order to appease them, that they should circumcise. So that's why Chamer talks in a different way. He just talks about the daughters of Yaakov, the girls in the family. 17, if you not listen to us to be circumcised, we'll take our daughter, and we'll get out of here. But the words were pleasing in the eyes of Chamer. In the eyes of Shechem, ben Chamer. And they were so eager that the young man did not delay. Because he had this desire in the daughter of Yaakov and Dinah. And he was most honored of all the princes in the house of his father. Yahweh, Chamer, Shechem, Benoi, Chamer and his son Shechem, Al Shadidam, they came to the gate of the city. That's where everybody gathered into the city. And they spoke to the people of the city. They said, these people, Shleimim, they are peaceful with us. And they want to live here. They want to do business here. And behold, the land is spacious enough for them. As will take their daughters, Nashim for wives. But they say no, will give us, and we will give them our daughters. It's a shleimim with peace and sincerity. The metaphor is that of a person whose hands is wide and generous. That is to say, you will not lose anything if they trade here. Plenty of merchandise come here, and there's no one to purchase it. Over here, we'll be able to do a lot of business. There's only one problem, there's one condition. These people are shevas to these people that live with us. To be one nation. If all male will circumcise themselves. They are circumcised. Then shall they, not their cattle and all their property, they'll all be ours. We'll be able to all enjoy all this bountiful, unbelievable, because Yaakov Avinu had a lot of cattle. Yeshiva Tana, let them dwell with us. So let us, regarding this matter, and thereby they will deal with us. So let's do it. What does it bother everybody? All the male will circumcise themselves. And all those who came to the gate in the city listened to Chamer and Shechem. And every male, all who went out of the gates of the city all circumcised themselves on that day. In verse 25 of the third day, B'Yasim Kavim, when they were extremely in pain. And then the two sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi, got up. Dinah, the sisters of Dinah, Ish Chaybe, these two guys took a sword. They came into the city, Betach. They were confident, and they killed every man. Yaakov, they were his sons, but nevertheless, Shimon and Levi conduct himself like other people. We're not his son. This is not the way Yaakov wanted him to do it. They did not counsel with him. They didn't ask him. They didn't ask Yaakov if this is the way they should do this thing. Hey, Dinah, since they risked their lives for her, they're called her brothers. Betach, because the towns were in pain. God, that they were confident in the strength of the elder. They were confident that in their father's chus, they would merit to accomplish the. Came into the city and they killed everybody, all the males. That's Chamer v'Shchem b'nei Hargul u'ficharim. They killed Chamer and Shechem. Was Dinah based Shechem? They took Dinah from the house of Shechem by Yitzeyu and they left. Yaakov ba'al ha'chalalim, sons of Yaakov came upon the slain and plundered the city. By they plundered the city that had defiled their sister. To strip the slain. Verse 28, as Tainam as Kodim as Chamereim, they took the flock and the cattle and the donkeys, the Sasher Beir, anything that was in the city, Sasher Basada, anything that was in the field, Lakach they took. Verse 29 was called Chelam, was called Tapam, was the Shem, Shavu, and all the wealth and all the infants and the wives they took. By Yevoizu, plundered. That was left in the house. Rashi says all their wealth, chelam is their wealth. And we find a different first verse in the Torah, the word chel is the concept of wealth. After noting captivity. Verse number 30, Yaakov Shimon Levi, Yaakov turned to Shimon Levi. And he said to them, Achratem oisi, you have troubled me. To discredit me amongst the inhabitants of the land. Knani, Reprizi, amongst the Knaniites, amongst the Prizzites, and I am but a few in number. They'll all gather together and they will attack me. And we will be destroyed. How do you do such a thing? Rasha Machatem is an expression denoting murky waters, meaning now my mind is not clear without worry. The Agada explains, the Agada, Medishaba, the barrel was clear, but you have made it murky. I saw our way clear to coexisting with the Canaanites, but now you have spoiled this possibility. The Canaanites had the tradition that they would fall into the hands of Yaakov's sons, but they said that this would only happen until you are faithful and inherit the land. Or they were silent. And they answered, shall we make our sister a harlot? Zayn is hefker. As a chasenu, yes, our sister. We're going to make our sister. Chapter 35, verse number 1. And God said to Yaakov, Kum Beis El. You know what? You made a promise they're going to come back to Beis El. And because it's taking you so long to come back, that's why you're having all these problems. Get up and go to Beis El. That was the deal. Vishav Sham and buy there, live there. Vashesham Mizbeach Lekeli. You made a promise that you're going to bring him Mizbeach. You're going to establish an altar to God there. Anile Lecha, when they came to you and seen you, when you ran away from your brother Esav. So why are you taking you so long to get back to Beis El? She says, arise and go up, since you tarried on the way. Look what's going on. 2018, 20, it's over 2 years that you're taking to get back home. Get up and go back. So you've been punished with these troubles your daughters have befallen you because you made a promise. You're not fulfilling your promise. It's about time you get up and move forward. Yaakov said to his children of Chalasharim, and all those that were there with them, he said, take away all your deities. They plundered, they took all these statues and all these trinkets of idol worship. Which is in your midst. And purify yourself and change your garments. That you have possession from the spoils of Shem. From idolatry. Change your clothes. Perhaps you have clothing of idols in your possession. Let's get up for Nala Bay Sale. We're going to go to Bethel. I'm going to make there an altar to God who answers me in the day of my pain. He always been with me, in the way I've gone. And they gave to Yaakov all the deities they had in their hand, and all the earrings, Hasheba's name, and they were in the ears. And Yaakov hid them under the tree, Asher in Shem, which is in Shem. Asher, the tree, Allah is a species that bears no fruit. Im Shem means near Shem. And they traveled in the fear of God. Here you have the word chitas. God, chitas. The Rebbe would mention this word. That when you learn chitas, ches, tough, when you learn chitas, the fear of God will be upon you. With the fear of God, Allah hadid, Asher Seisechem, which surrounded them. And they didn't run after Yaakov. Chitas, Ashes, chitas. Chitas is pakat, fear. Yaakov came to Luzah. Which we mentioned, we know is base El. El, and all the people that were with him. He built there an altar. El, base El. He called it the God of Base El. Kisham Nigla Lakim. Because over there, God revealed himself to him, the Barcher Bnei when he ran away from his father. In Base El, is in Beit El. The manifestation of his presence is in Bethel. The word, the prefix of Beit, the meaning. Behold, is the house of Bais. Nigla says Nigla, the plural. In many places, the noun prefacing to godliness or mastership appears to be plural form. Like the masters, Joseph masters, the owner, or if the owners is with him. Well, so you have that's the grammar concept that the Torah sometimes talks in a plural when really it should be said in the singular. And the Veda, the Rebecca's nurse, died. And she was buried beneath Bethel. Tachas Elon, beneath plains. Alon, beneath the plains. Vayikishmei Alum Bachas, and they called it Alamba. She says, connection between the Veda, how would Yaakov's household? How did this get into the story? We never heard about this. However, since Rebecca said to Jacob, I'll send and take you out from there, that's who she sent. She sent the Veda. It was the Veda whom she sent to him, to Paddan Aram, to instruct him to leave from there. And she died on the way. And this from Amosh Hadash. The Veda who Rivka sent to Yaakov to get him back to bring him back home. So she came back with him, this lady, and she died. She passed away on the road. And she was buried in the foot of the mountain, at the bottom of the plains. But there was a plain, there's a plain above, on the incline of the mountain, and the grave below. Plains of Beis Hillel are called Alon. And the Haggadah tells us, he informed there of another morning. He was told about his mother who died. Alon in Greek means another. But he was informed when the Veda died, he was informed as on the way home that his mother passed away. The reason the day of her death is concealed. People should not curse the womb of Esau. So to say, Tachas Alon, that devoted was buried, died, Rivka died. So we're not told exactly the day that she died, because people would, so to say negative things about Rivka, who had a terrible son, Esau. And we know that Esau, never did tshuva. The pasuk never publicizes the passing of Rivka. The passing of publicizes the passing of Rachel, but it doesn't tell us about Rivka. It is an encrypted pasuk, and it's telling us about the passing of Rivka. God appeared to him again. Yaakov, when he came from Padan Aram, he blessed him. Now she says, the second time in this place, this was the second time. Yaakov Avinu, 22 years earlier, left Bethel, and he blessed him. God blessed him. And now, 22 years later, he came back to Eretz Yisrael. He passed Bethel, and the Eivishter blessed him. What did he bless him? Because now he was mourning. He heard his mother passed away, so he became a mourner. The God should console you between all the mourners of Jerusalem and Zion. And God said to him, Yaakov, your name is Yaakov. Yaakov, we're not going to call you, your name is not going to be Yaakov. Yisrael, your name will be Yisrael. Yisrael, he called his name Yisrael. She said, Yaakov, an expression of man who comes from self, with go. Yisrael denotes a person who is a sar and a chief. So you are going to be called Yisrael. And God said, Shakai, I am God. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation, a multitude of nations will come from you. And kings will come forth from your lips. She said, Ani kel Shakai, Shaddai, Yedai Levara. Shakai, Shin Dalad Yud, which is Shaddai, mean, and I have the power to bless because blessing is mine. Pray Revei. God bestowed the blessings upon Yaakov because Binyamin was not yet born. So God said, you're going to still multiply. You're still going to have a child. And although Rachel was already pregnant. Goy, so that's why he said you're going to have a nation. You're going to have another child, Binyamin. And you're going to have Goyim. You're going to have multiple nations. And this is where Yaakov Avinu understood that he's going to have not 12 tribes, he's going to have 13 tribes. Because Yaakov Avinu accepts Menashe and Ephraim, Menashe and Ephraim were destined to emanate from Yosef and were counted among the non-Dura tribes. So Yaakov Avinu understood from this blessing that he's not going to only have another child, Binyamin, he's ultimately going to add Yosef's children to his children. Nasha and Ephraim. Umalachim, what means kings? This is Shaul, Ishbaishes, that was from the tribe of Binyamin. They're going to be kings who were not yet born. In terms of verse, the sense, when he crowned Ishbaishes, and the tribes too interpreted the sense because they came friendly again with Binyamin, as it's written, no man from Yos shall give the daughters. This was a story later on in the prophets, where Binyamin was excommunicated to the Jewish nation due to a story that happened with that tribe at that time. And they retracted that it said, were Binyamin not to be counted amongst the tribes. The Holy One, blessed be He, would not have said to Jacob, and kings shall come from your loins. So this is a famous story that happened. And ultimately, Binyamin was brought back into the tribes of the Jewish nation. Goyu kal goyim means that the children are destined to be like foreign nations. According to the number of the nations, who are 70 nations. Likewise, the entire Sanhedrin is composed of 70 members, and they are all connected to the sons of Yaakov's household that came down to Mitzrayim, the number 70. And it says later, another explanation, this means that his sons are destined to offer up the sacrifice at the time of prohibition on high places, just as the Gentile nations in the time of Elijah, and did in the time of Elijah, that ultimately they will bring it on Bamis, that the Goyo Kahal Goyim, that the Yidden will come a time in history that Jews will bring sacrifice. At the time of Elijah, that Jews started to bring sacrifices on the Bamis and the private altars, which the Torah prohibited the Jews once the Beis Hamikdash was be built. Completes the Chumash of today. To the Tanya of the day, in the middle, I'm sorry, this is the sixth letter, the sixth essay of the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in the Akuntas Ach. Last two essays explain how the observance commandments seeks out the exiled sparks that is in the world, and thereby connecting them with godliness, bringing them back to their source. Pointed out, the same is true of the study of the law, right? The present essay goes one step further. Explains that the laws of the Torah transcend the world beyond any possible comparison. The saying starts off with a very interesting Gemara. When David triumphantly brought back the ark from captivity from the hands of the Philistines, placed in a wagon, David had momentarily forgotten the stipulation of the Torah, that the shoulders should carry it. That the other in the ark needed to carry it on the shoulders of the Kohanim. You're not allowed to put it on a wagon. And somebody died. In this episode, our sages teach that David's forgetfulness came from a punishment for having referred to the laws of the Torah as a song. David HaMelech compared the laws of the Torah to a song. And that was a mistake. God said, you cannot, why are you calling my laws songs? Your statutes were songs for me in my place of terror. See the verse right in front of David Zmires Kirisilu. Amongst the questions discussed in this essay before us, and at greater length in Likutei Torah and Eira Torah, and that of Mitzvah Secha and Mitzvah Maseh Ha'arim Makotef. that the Aron was carried on the shoulder of the Kahana. Okay, so let's go into this number 6. David, you call them songs. God said it was a question mark. You call my mitzvah songs. Of course, he referred to the laws of the Torah song. David was punished by made to stumble in a matter that even a school child knows. But Amelech was a genius, who was a Navi, who was a great Talmud Chacham, made a simple mistake. Every child knows that the ark, is carried on the shoulders of the Kahana. And here David HaMelech made a simple mistake. That's a 5-year-old child walking in the street. And the child will have told him, the pasuk says that the ark needs to be be carried by the Kahana, not put in a wagon. And the ark to be carried on the shoulders of the Kahana. Every person who learns Chumash knows that the Torah says that the ark needs to be carried on the shoulder of the Kahana. And here, David HaMelech put it on a wagon, which created a catastrophe. So David HaMelech erred. And why did he make this mistake? Because it was a punishment to him that he called it the mitzvahs as a song. The Rebbe asked a question. In the Zohar, we find the expression. Why? If that's so terrible, Shimba Yochai wrote the Zohar. In the Zohar, it's written, Shvacha Derais Uranu, the praise of Torah in its songs. So you see, it also calls Torah the song. Torah is the hymns and the songs of God. And so to maybe let us understand what is the praises of God when a particular object is forbidden from what does it mean? What does it mean that when you say this is kosher, that's not kosher, this animal is good, and that animal, what is the song is that? That's a law. So what does the meaning of the shvach? It's a praise to God that a pig is not kosher and a cow is kosher. What kind of praise to God is that? Well, there, oh my God, Hashem, similar content is implicated in the verse. How great are your works, O God? Your thoughts are very deep. Just make the deeds precede the thoughts. It should have been the opposite. Should have said first how deep your thoughts are and how great your actions are. But the Rebbe will soon explain that from an appreciation of God's great work, one begins to understand the depth of his thought. So that's why you need to see first the greatness, my God, the Masech Hashem, how great is the works of God, to ultimately understand the thought, to ultimately have a deep thought. It's known, all the exalted and lowly, all the upper world and the lower world, dependent on meticulous performance of a single mitzvah. The Rebbe is telling us a very important thing, that we should realize that everything that happens above in the most spiritual worlds is all contingent on a good deed in this world. If the altar is kosher, that brings about the unity above. And by what happens is, when I bring a kosher animal, what happens is all the worlds are elevated to receive the life force from God in the spiritual sustenance. However, if the person alters the precise requirement of the law, for example, He made one thing. Torah obligates a person to kohen to get the blood for his right hand. He took that. The blood. He took with his left hand. Or if he wasn't taking the blood in a valid vessel. Or there was something separate, like he was wearing a glove. Torah tells you should receive the blood with his hand. So he was wearing a glove. Not allowed to do that. What happens? The guy might think, what's the big deal? I did the mitzvah. So I didn't get it with the right hand. I got it with the left hand. I had a glove. I was wearing this white glove on my hand. You shouldn't, don't say that. Azayin is batel aliyas ha'elam is v'chayusam v'shviyusam. That all the elevations of the world that would have been accomplished are nullified. As the life force and the sustenance that they would have received from the source of the life of them. That is the power of the meaning of doing something la halacha. No, you didn't do it according to the law. You didn't do it the correct way. And so too with kosher tefillin. Say this to people. A lot of people say, I have my grandfather's tefillin. Sentimental value. Yeah, but maybe it's not kosher. And it needs to be buried. And I know you have sentimental value in it, but the tefillin not kosher. If the tefillin are not kosher, they're hundreds of years old, and nothing lasts forever, and therefore you need to have kosher tefillin. Because if you don't put on kosher tefillin, you're not accomplishing the mitzvah. You might have sentimental value. Put it on a mantle. I'm telling you to get rid of it, keep it, but you need to have kosher tefillin. And that's so too with the verse of valid tefillin. It is a revealed supernal intellect of Zeir Anten and Nukva Zohar Malchus of Atzilus, the source of life of all worlds. You don't realize that you're not putting on kosher tefillin. You're not bringing about the revelation of Atzilus, of the world of emanation in this world. And you need to do that. You only can have this revelation with this kosher prayer tefillin. Yet through the omission of one required detail, they are invalidated. There are so many laws in every mitzvah. There are so many laws in the mitzvah of tefillin, and if one of them is not good, it's invalid. And it's not a connection. The connection is very detailed. They said, and the same applies detailed requirements of prohibited commandments. A single detail affects all the world. Not doing a mitzvah. You are not connecting godliness to this world. You are not bringing about the connection of godliness in all the world. And therefore, I must burn in my God, do my Hashem. Let one therefore ponder how great the works of God in the multiplicity of worlds and all their hosts. And realize that at the same moment, they're all nothing. They're all nothing. They're all nothing to the specific requirements of the Torah. Because without a person doing the mitzvah in the correct way, all these worlds are invalid, no purpose. A Jew that does a mitzvah, hilchasa, that does the mitzvah like the Torah wants to do the mitzvah, accomplishes the purpose of creation. If we don't have a yid that does a mitzvah, according to the law, then the whole upper worlds and the lower worlds and everything that God has created is all nothing. It's all the worlds. My God, Hashem. All worlds are all created for a yid to do a mitzvah and to do it correctly. But that's the pasuk. My God, Masech Hashem, Ma'od Amku Mashvash Zecha. Shu Oimit Machshava Al Yeina V'Chachmasim. For it's the profundity and the supreme thought and the divine wisdom of why God created this whole world. Shebedigdu Kal. Through observance of one minor specification. Kablim, Kala Elam is Kabachai. Through one thing. It might be a small thing. Through that one little thing, the whole world has its existence. Or the opposite. The Chashu Shalom, my tefillin, is missing one thing. One thing. The black has faded away. One letter in the tefillin is not kosher. That's why I need to keep on checking them to make sure that every letter is kosher. Because one letter that is not kosher defects the whole tefillin, defects the whole concept. Case of detailed requirement of prohibited and transgressions, bringing about, God's forbid, the descent of all world. And God forbid if I do a sin, forget about it. If I do a sin, I'm basically descending the world, destroying the world. Then is beinin dulas oimet machshavte. From this, we may ponder the unbelievable of God's thought, which is boundless and endless. By Allah ain't kates for tachlis, which is infinitely transcends al milas chayes kol elements of the vitality of all worlds. Shakol chayusam shefa medigdach echmi manner, for the entire vivifying power issues from a minor requirement of God's thoughts. Analogous to a man's hair that's issued from his brain. Right here. Answer to sadness. We learned before, a person who plays with his hair. Later, when Tunu Adarabba is brought down in the Tikkun Zoya and Idarabba. Zoy Soisa Simchas David HaMelech Alav Hashalom. And now you understand why David HaMelech called the Torah a song. Melech meant it in a positive way. He was sang in gladness. The Sameach Libay, to gladden his heart. To study Torah during the time of his anguish. I mean, he was when he contemplated how the entire world is no account relative to one minor specification detail of the Torah. He said, okay, I'm having tzaddis, I have all these problems, but what's the whole person to one halacha garnished? So he said, I can be happy, I should continue to be happy. Even though I have all these headaches and tzaddis, I'm running away, I'm in this constant, I'm a fugitive, and I'm running away from my father-in-law, and everybody's trying to get me. But you know what? The Torah gives me joy. Learning Torah gives me joy. It's like a song to me. Every word of Torah, every halach of the Torah is like a song to me. It gives me the ultimate enjoyment. Why? Because taka the world is giving me pain. But Torah is greater than this whole world. One The Torah is greater than this whole world. It actually gives the purpose of this world. Therefore, why am I alive to be happy? And that's why he called it the Im Zmir Soul. The question is, why was God angry? We'll get to that in a moment. But that's why David HaMelech was happy. Because he said, I am joyful. Look back at this world, how great it is. But go depth into your mind, you'll realize that this whole world is nothing to one simple Jewish law. Okay, that ends the Tanya of today. Beautiful Tanya of the day. Today is the 14th day of the month, which is chapter 72 to chapter 76. And you would accomplish the Chitas. Chitas Alakim. The Rebbe would say, the year that learns Chitas, God will put the fear of the world. He will not, they will protect him by learning Chitas, Chumash, Tilim, and Tanya. Chitas stands for 3 words. Ches is for Chumash, Taf is for Tilim, Taf is for Tanya, Chumash, Tilim, and Tanya, Chumash, Tanya, and Tilim. And you'll accomplish learning Chitas every day will bring you only to have a happy, successful, and wonderful day. And Mitzvah at 10 a.m., we're going to have a class of the Sikh of the Rebbe. Everybody's welcome to either come to Chabad or on this Zoom number or Torah Direct and come and learn a Sikh of the Rebbe on the portion of the week. I wish you all a wonderful day. And Mitzvah, we'll surely see you tomorrow. I apologize. My computer that I usually use is still restarting. I don't know what happened to it. So I apologize for the technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll have this fixed by tomorrow. I wish you a wonderful and beautiful day.
Thank you, Rob.